good for her, but no. Just the fact that they read a book and read something that might happen doesn't mean that's going to. That's like a kid bringing home the Bible and saying, hey mom, Jesus walked on water. I'm going to dive into the nearest lake and see if I can walk on water too. That's stupid. Also, another thing is, if marriage is a religious act, which, it is a religious act, but if it didn't affect life at all, then there would be no issue about it. People are always talking about separation of church and state. What's the big deal? It's marriage. It's a religious thing. Yes, but that's essentially saying that because you are of a certain religious faction, that you get certain benefits. So you can't really say that marriage is a religious thing and say that there's a separation of church and state. For instance, when you get married, some of the main key topics that gay people want to get married for is the obvious one: you can visit your partner in the hospital. You can file your taxes jointly. A lot of people don't know this, but if you're, for sake of argument, 60, 70 years old, you're living with your gay partner, one of them dies, or your partner dies. Straight couples who are married receive their partner's Social Security benefits. If you're gay, you don't do that. You don't receive them. They just die and it goes off somewhere for somebody else. You don't receive their benefits. When you're married, you can be on a single insurance plan. Gay people can't do that. Obviously, when you're married, it's easier to get a loan. It's easier to adopt a child. And I don't think that people understand how big marriage is, how many benefits you have to getting married. Because if marriage was just about, hey, here's a ring, here's a trophy, this is who I'm living with for the rest of my life, and that's it, I don't think that gay people would have that big of an issue with it. But the fact that married people get so many benefits out of it, and gay people can potentially have a stronger, better, longer lasting relationship than a certain married couple who is straight, why can't they both have the same benefits? And the main thing that people talk about is the sanctity of marriage. Marriage is something that's sacred and that it shouldn't be tampered with. But I'm going to tell everybody a little story about myself, which I don't tell to just anybody, but seeing as how it's on the internet now, I really don't care. When I was 12 years old, actually when I was 9 years old, my mother and father divorced. My mother met her high school sweetheart again, who she hadn't seen for about 20, 25 years. Hadn't seen him. My mother and father divorced, and about 2 months later, my mother and her high school sweetheart went to Vegas. I told my mother, at 9 years old, I told my mom, Mom, don't get married in Vegas. Please do not. She said, okay, I promise, I won't. She came back with a ring on her finger, and I called her out on it. At 9 years old, I called my mom out and said, you lied to me, I can't trust you anymore. She went through 2 years of physical, mental, and emotional abuse with this asshole. And on March 11th, 2001, 18 days before my 13th birthday, my mother was murdered. She was shot in the head by my stepfather, who she was married to. The sanctity of marriage didn't stop him from pulling the trigger. Nothing stopped him. Marriage is not something that is sacred. When 50% of... If marriage is sacred, then make divorce illegal. I think that would make gay people a lot happier, if it would be illegal for divorce to occur. If marriage is sacred, then why are shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette on TV, where women know a guy for all of, 2 or 3 months, and marry him just because he's a millionaire? Shows like Flavor of Love, Flavor of Love 2, Flavor of Love 3, I Love New York, all these bullshit shows that treat marriage as if it's some kind of fucking game show. Marriage isn't sacred. What about Mexicans that come across the border, who I've heard of stories of women getting paid to marry a foreigner just so that they can get their green card. But they still can. Nothing's stopping them. Nothing's stopping any of this shit from happening. So if you're going to tell me that marriage is sacred, then stop all of this stuff from happening. But just because I was born a certain way, and just because I love somebody, just because I'm with them for years on end and I want to spend the rest of my life with them, don't take away my happiness. Don't take away something that I should have that you get. If I'm with my boyfriend for 5-6 years and you're with your girlfriend or your boyfriend for a year and a half, you guys marry and you guys get benefits when I don't, that's bullshit. Hope y'all have a good day. Peace. That's my rant. So any comments are greatly appreciated. Y'all have a good night. Peace.